Today I'm going to be eating and training like Rock Lee from Naruto. Rock Lee is actually known for his taijutsu, or his hand-to-hand combat, but what he's really known for is the curry of life. Now, like any good ninja, you have to be prepared before going into battle, or in my case, training. So I'm going to be meal prepping all of the curry of life I need for today. We're going to increase the spiciness between each exercise or challenge. From the jalapeno curry to the Thai chili curry to finally the habanero curry. Both my mouth and my butt are not prepared for today. But before I start my meal prep, I have to know exactly how much curry of life Rock Lee eats in a day. So let's head upstairs and figure that out. Now, according to the Naruto wiki and a few other sources, Rock Lee is around 5'9" and 120 pounds at his heaviest. If I put that information into my macro calculator, 5'9", 120 pounds with very intense exercise like every Naruto character, and we're gonna say that he actually wants to gain a little bit of weight because then he can maybe put on some more muscle. Once we put those into our macro calculator, these are the numbers that we get. 194 grams worth of protein, 424 grams worth of carbohydrates, and 90 grams worth of fat, for a total of 3,182 calories. But there is a big problem. All of those calories are coming from curry, and only curry and rice. That means we have a ton of meal prep to do. Let's get back downstairs. Now, to make a Japanese curry, we actually have to start off by making the roux, which is relatively simple, and what's really cool is that you guys can make this at home by pre-ordering my brand new cookbook, Annie Bites. The curry recipe from here is actually from the LeBlanc curry that we're adapting for today's video. This is a collection of recipes that we've done on the channel, and you can pre-order it right now at the link down below. Even though we're making 3 different curries, we really only need 1 base roux. Now I'm gonna be melting this giant stick of butter down this along with a ton of spices. There's so many here that I'm just gonna list them right here. Start cooking it down with the butter so they get nice and toasted. Now, as soon as that butter is melted, this is when I have to add in my flour. And this is about 1 cup worth of flour. I'm using bread flour, but honestly, all-purpose flour is going to be just as fine. I would have used all-purpose flour, but I ran out. After a couple of minutes, it's going to smell nice and toasty and kind of like buttered popcorn. This is when I'm gonna turn this off, and this is done. This is the roux that we're gonna need throughout the day. Now, if you wanna be super extra like me, you can pick up a silicone mat and fill these each individually with some of the curry and press it down so you'll have yourself nice little servings of curry balls. Now, once I have everything in here, this has to cool down completely. If you are going to attempt the curry of life, you can skip the cooling down part and just roll right into the curry. But because I'm actually gonna work out before I have my first curry, these have to cool down. Now, the other thing we're gonna need to do is prep some vegetables just to make this a little more substantial, and also so this way the chilies have something to play around with, so they're not just playing around with my stomach. I'm gonna just prep out 2 carrots, get a little bit sweeter, which is really, really nice, and also 3 Japanese yams or sweet potatoes. Now, since the goal is to be able to eat this relatively quickly, or I guess make it relatively quickly when we need it, I'm gonna actually be cooking off the vegetables right now. So I'm gonna dice up all of my potato. I'm gonna hit the potatoes with just a glug of oil, a heavy pinch of salt just to give it a little bit of seasoning. Give this a nice toss, make sure that's all incorporated. Put this onto the sheet tray. I'm gonna bake this at 350 for maybe like 30 minutes until they're soft. The carrots will not be cooked ahead of time because they will cook relatively quickly, so I'm not too worried about that. Once the carrots are cooked, grab an empty container and we're just gonna fill this with water as well, so this stays nice and fresh for when we actually cook the curry. Next are some aromatics. I have a half an onion that I'm going to just dice up. So I have my carrots done, my onions are done. The last thing to do is to chop up all of these chilies. I'm gonna start with the jalapenos first. As far as the chili goes, make sure you have a glove and or wash your hands very, very well after all of this. I actually don't even want to cut these on this cutting board. I'm going to use this cutting board instead. Now I'm starting off with 2 jalapenos. Given that the jalapenos are not that spicy, we're going to absolutely include the seeds. That's where a lot of the heat can be. I'm just slicing these into little slivers, julienne kind of, but really we're just going to be chopping these up. Jalapenos, done. Next is our Thai chili or bird's eye chili. For these, I'm just cutting them into little rounds. That's what those bad boys look like. Now for the 3 habaneros. Now, habaneros have about 350,000 Scoville units, which makes them relatively spicy. The thing that I do really like that some people don't like about habaneros is that they can be mildly sweet. This one is not mildly sweet, this one's spicy. I'm gonna open this up so it's a little easier to work with. We're gonna keep the inside so it stays extra spicy. Now my habaneros are nice and chopped up and I have all of my chilies ready to go throughout the day. Now with my chilies ready to go, I have to do one more thing, and that is prepping one of the most important parts of the day, the rice and the protein. Potatoes are ready to go. These are done. I'm just gonna let them sit over here somewhere. Now I can prep the protein, and this is very, very simple. This is chicken thigh, the superior chicken meat. I'm gonna add a good amount of salt to all of this because it is 2 pounds worth of chicken, and a ton of black pepper. Now, I'm not really hitting this with too many other seasonings because the curry is gonna be really flavorful. Then 1 to 2 spoons worth of oil. Give this a good massage. Make sure all the salt and pepper is fully coating all of the chicken as well as that oil. Then I'm gonna take all of this chicken, place it onto my sheet tray, and this goes in the oven at the highest setting I have on broil. This only needs to cook for about 12 to 15 minutes at the most. And after 12 minutes, this is what our chicken thigh looks like. That's as easy as it gets. Pull it down, and we'll cut it. Now to portion out the chicken thigh, I have 3 different containers. These are going to represent each of the meals I have today. To make this super simple, I'm gonna take quite a bit of my chicken thigh and I'm just gonna slice this. We're just gonna have this sliced. This is gonna be really, really simple. So this way we can get on with the massive amount of training we have, but also very spicy curry. I just kind of eyeballed how much is in each container. So, I mean, you can have this all at one time if you really want to. That doesn't matter. Now we're ready to make some curry. Actually, we have to make some rice and then we can have our first curry of the day. Now it is time to make breakfast, and here are what my Roux spheres look like. I think I'm gonna need maybe 1 full sphere per curry batch, maybe a little bit more. That looks kind of cool. I think I'm gonna do 2 balls per serving. Now I'm doing this in a wok, but you can absolutely do this in a saute pan or just a small pot if you have one. You can do whatever you want. I'm gonna add just a little tiniest amount of oil. Then some of my onions first, right? Get a little bit of those onions in there for some aromatics. Then some of my potatoes. These are now cooled down completely and ready to use. Then 2 chopped jalapenos. Remember, we're kind of gearing ourselves up for the habanero version later. Then just a small amount of the carrots. You don't need too much in here. I'm gonna cook this up until everything is kind of soft, and then we just have to add the liquid and the curry. Now ideally, you would be able to throw these in directly without having to cut them up, but I feel like cutting them up is always gonna be the best bet. Now with most of my filling nice and sauteed, oh my God, we almost forgot the protein. We can put the protein in later. I'm gonna put in 2 cups worth of chicken stock right into here, and I'm gonna bring this up to a simmer for like 10 minutes. I've had this curry simmering over on the stove just for a few minutes so I wouldn't waste all of the butane. Now that this has been simmering, I can actually add all of my curry and my chicken. We're gonna add the chicken last. Use a whisk to break this down. Oh, that's beautiful. Let's go, curry. All the chicken. There's 1 portion of our chicken. I think this comes out to about 8 ounces. I'm gonna add just a touch of water. It's really thick. Now at this stage, this is where I wanna taste it for salt. Oh, needs a lot of salt. That's a lot more spicy than I thought it was gonna be. Oh, that is really good. Okay, let's plate up. I got rice ready, breakfast time. We got a lot of training to do and I have a lot of curry to eat. This is it doesn't even fit. Very nice. A little bit of green onion right on top. There is our first curry of life. This is a silly amount of curry. Cheers. That's so good. It's actually not very spicy. A little bit of kick, but that's nice because it mellows out, builds a little bit from the cayenne that's also in the curry mix that we made, and then you get some of the jalapeno spice. This is a really good spice level. I don't know how long it's gonna take me to eat this, but we have to put on the suit. Remind me to not wear this after eating that much curry and rice. And if you know Rock Lee like I do, you know we gotta rock the leg weights. Those. With my belly full of the curry of life, I really wanted to give these ankle weights a shot. I've never used these before, and again, I will give you guys a word of caution. Please be careful if you're trying something like this. I strapped on the ankle weights as best as I can, and I actually just started walking. I walked about a mile with the ankle weights on the treadmill just to get warmed up, and this was challenging in and of itself, and getting to the other challenges are gonna be pretty difficult.
Real talk, just walking is hard.
Now I can normally do these step-ups really easily. This isn't too difficult for me, but using these ankle weights in conjunction with the step-up was super difficult. It's mostly because you have to pay attention to how you go up and down. You don't want to come down with too much force because of the weights around the ankle. The ankle weights also just didn't feel very comfortable, making this whole setup just very awkward. But after a few step-ups for my warm-up, I really wanted to give the heavy bag a try. Now to me, Rock Lee really is known for his kicks like he trains with, but using the ankle weights against his heavy bag just was not comfortable. I had to be very careful when lifting my leg, when extending my leg, and when using my legs against the heavy bag because I was actually kicking with the weights and the weights were pushing back into my ankles. I made sure I gave it a try on both legs and it felt super awkward with my left leg because I am right foot dominant, but I was able to get a little bit of a groove even with the ankle weights going. It took some time to learn how to pivot and learn how to move with these ankle weights, but I will say I did get more confident as I went on with it. And after about hitting the bag for 10 10 minutes on each leg, I was already gassed, but I still had quite a bit of training left to do.
These are incredibly uncomfortable.
That training included some bodyweight pull-ups with the weights around my ankles, which just made it slightly more difficult than I'm used to. I also did some hamstring work using my opposite leg to really lift and use those weights around the ankle. I also did some leg extensions, which honestly is kind of a waste because I'm using the ankles when I could just apply more weight to the machine itself, but I wanted to keep in theme here.
I really am feeling the curry after all this, but I got one more thing I want to try, and it's an important one.
And that was finally taking off the ankle weights to now practice my kicks one more time to see how it feels. I felt infinitely lighter, even if it was just 10 pounds on each foot. Each of my kicks, for me, felt lightning fast, almost like I couldn't control my leg. The pivoting was faster, the kick was faster, I kicked higher, I kicked harder. It also had to do with the fact that I was now warmed up. It takes me about 20 minutes to warm up my body for whatever reason, but once I get going, I'm like a coal locomotive, I just can't be stopped. I practiced my kicks on both legs, making sure I got in as many fun kicks and transitions as I could. I was so confident in this little corridor that I tried a few things that I haven't really tried before, and then fell over and almost broke everything behind me. With that, I think it's time to have our next portion of Curry of Life. Not gonna lie, I did not like those at all, but at the end there, that felt pretty good. And now I get to make the second spicy dish of the day. The second curry of the day is going to be using the Thai chilies. This one is made the exact same way as we did for breakfast, but this time I'm going to be throwing in all of those Thai chilies, and these are so spicy. I can just smell them burning my nostrils. Oh no. After a quick saute and about 10 minutes later, I have my Thai curry ready, and I am ready to devour this thing, and I really hope I don't regret it for the next session of training for Roux. This is absolutely gorgeous looking. My mouth is still kind of watering, even though I've already had some of this today, but not this version. Cheers. You know what I forgot to do? Put salt. Oh my God, spicy. There we go. Maybe that'll help. Okay. You know who's not gonna be happy? Me tomorrow in the bathroom. This one though, I actually really like. This is good and spicy. I've been picking at this for about 15 minutes. My nose is runny, my mouth is on fire, and I am going to wait about 30 minutes and then go do one of the most important scenes that Roux has ever done. And no, it is not the scene that you are thinking of. With my belly now full of the curry of life, I really wanted to try to do this jump rope scene that Roux does. When he was training, he was actually trying to hit 1,200 jump ropes in a row without failure. Otherwise, he had to do 2,000 kicks. But the kicker here is that I want to try to do this with the weights around my legs. A word of caution for any of you guys out there who want to try this, please be careful with the weights around your legs and jump roping. It can be very stressful and very impactful on your joints and your knees, so just use a lot of caution if you ever attempt this. Jump roping with the 20 pounds around your feet just doesn't feel great. I couldn't get my rhythm, I couldn't get my rhyme, I couldn't get on up, it wasn't bobsled time, but I started to finally feel that I could actually take on a little bit of this challenge. Doing 1,200 steps worth of jump rope in a row with these weights was just incredibly difficult for me.
Jump roping with the ankle weights is not the best feeling, but I still want to get some jump rope in to give Roux his respect, you know?
So I took the weight offs like I was ready to fight Gara, and I took on some more jump rope. I absolutely love jump rope. It's one of my favorite cardio exercises. And jump roping normally without the weights on after having the weights on feels like you're actually floating. Just like earlier in the day when I took the weights off and was practicing my kicks, taking the weights off and then practicing my jump rope felt completely different. And after around 15 minutes worth of jump rope, it was time for the next battle. This is it. This is the last one, habanero, but I wanted to make it spicier. That's where Mama Kong's loud chili paste comes in. I picked this up at my very first Thai water festival, and I figure this is a perfect time to try it on this. What the hell? I can't open it. Oh, I got it. Roux training, baby. That's going on right now. Cheers. That's pretty tasty. It's actually not as spicy as the Thai chili one was. It has a little bit of sweetness too from the habanero. But Mama Kong's coming through. If you guys want the recipe for the curry roux, link is down below. It's also in my cookbook, Any Bites, which you can pick up and pre-order right now. Pre-orders are going to stop very soon, so make sure you pick that up and try your own hand at curry. My name is Chef PK, and remember, keep playing with your food. Oh, I'm just gonna have to walk away with this one. There's no teleportation after all that curry I ate. And while he's dealing with whatever's gonna be going on in his stomach, I wanna say thank you to today's sponsor, Nebula. Right now, over on Nebula, you can watch a deep dive by Wendover Productions of how Nebula was created, or you can watch an early access version of my video where I explore anime food all over Seattle. I get to explore 6 different restaurants all over Seattle that have some of your favorite anime food. The best part is you get to watch this content ad-free if you sign up with my link down below. Nebula has a massive library of content that is completely ad-free. You'll also find exclusive content that isn't available anywhere else outside of Nebula. So whether or not you want to deep dive into how Nebula was created or watch my early video of me eating anime food all over Seattle, and that one is a super fun one, use my link down below to sign up for $2.50 a month. Thank you again to Nebula for sponsoring today's video. My name is Chef PK, and remember, keep playing with your food.